Vanakkam. Hello friends. Color is the language of material in a very specific sense, a symbol and a metaphor unique to every culture. Now, when we think of the Indus Valley Civilization, IVC, what is the one color that comes to our mind? A color that is found everywhere if you visit the site. Well, it is red. Why? The material used abundantly in all the buildings was the burnt brick. The most popular metal that was used was copper, and an abundant material found in heaps all over the site is pottery, all hues of red. Now, let's come to the Tamil civilization to explore the color connect of red. And we will start with the word red itself, exploring its linguistic roots in Tamil. Se, sem, se, sepu, sivappu. And starting with the naming of the color, the language names a lot of objects associated with the color red. Thus, the liquid running through our body, which is red in color, is semmai plus neer, sennir. Another word for blood is kurudi, and kurudi in our connected Dravidian languages like Kannada and Tulu also stands for red water. You know, the water made of turmeric and sunnambu, that is calcium, that is used in rituals that even today we use for our arati. Now, sociologists are of the view that this is a leftover practice where in ancient times animal sacrifices were the order of the day and blood was offered in these rituals. Now the blood is replaced with red water, the association of the word kurudi. Udiram being another word for blood, there is also the term rattam, but that comes from rakta, which is an Indo-Aryan root word. Say is the name given to a newborn baby just emerging from a mother's womb. Why? It is covered in red blood. Starting from here, our ancestors looked at the nature around them and named them after the colors of red, such as Sevvanam, meaning the red color sky at the time of sunset, Sevvarai, meaning the red hills, Sengalam meaning a bloody battlefield, Semman meaning red color sand. Now, from here, the polysemous extension of the term was used to describe characteristics of an object of a color red. Now, we know that Semman is soil of very high quality. நம்ம வந்து மண் கண்டம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். Very fertile, very good. So, taking the extension from there, Sem or Semmai was taken to mean something of very good quality. Thereby, Semmal, a very great person, and a king who was very righteous, his scepter was known as the Sengol. Now, scepter is a straight rod. Seppam, Senguttu, meaning something straight. The linguistic connect kept on going like this. We know that Sendamil is the adoration with which we call our mother tongue. And when this happens, it shows the depth of a language. And here I would like to quote the author Mr. Balakrishnan in his book Journey of a Civilization. This is where Tamil as a language and the Sangam texts stand out as a civilizational representative of a legacy that is comparable with the archaeologically attested language of material in the IVC, the color red. Very interestingly, he goes on to show how there are 1589 words in the Tamil lexicon denoting various things like animals, plants, trees, objects, poets, kings, chieftains, and the common people, all associated and being named after the color red. Thus, you have Seval, Sengalnare, Sembavalam, Sengandal, Sembaruthi, Sevvalai, and common names such as the names of people and the names of poets like Semboodanar, Sembiyanar, Seran Sengutuvan, Kochengat Cholan. All these make for a very interesting connect. And from there are plenty of place names also that we know, like Sengotai, Sengundram, Sengalpattu, Sembatti, Sengodu, and Sem also occurs as a mono-word place name in both Pakistan and Afghanistan, besides territorial names like Semgal, Semtal, Semmol, Semgala, and Semor, and a few even in Gujarat and Maharashtra like Semalia, Sembal, Semado, etc. We also know that lal is the word for red in Hindi, which has its roots in Urdu. Lal also occurs as a monoplace name in Afghanistan, but Balakrishnan is of the opinion that these names should have come later. Now, when we say Lal as a place name, we are at once reminded of Lal Gudi in our own regions, which is in the Tiruchirappalli district. And I was very surprised when looking into the history of why this place was named as Lal Gudi. Lal is red and Gudi is tower in Urdu, and this small town was renamed in the 12th century during the Muslim invasion led by Malik Kafur, where the invaders, upon entering the town, were captivated by the red tower of the local Shiva temple and renamed the town as Lalgudi. Well, its original name was Thiruttavatturai, named after Thiruttavatturai Nadar. This is a Tevara Vaiputhalam sung by Thirunyana Sambandar. So, while our Tamil Nadu government today is contemplating changing the spellings of the names of places in Tamil country, probably we should also consider reverting to the original names of the places itself. This said and done, in Tolgapiyam, very interestingly, the colors red and black are associated with emotions. Red for anger and black for rage are commonly used in the English language as well, as we know. Karuppum, Sivappum, Vehuli, Porula. Now, it is very interesting to see how these colors are handled by Sangam poets. Let's take a couple of examples. In the Paditruppattu that sings the praises of Chera kings, Kumattur Kannanar on Imayavaramban Nedunjeraladan, Nadukavin Aliya Namam Totri, Kutru Aduvo Nindra Yakai Pola, Ni Sivandirutha Neerali Pakam. It shows how this Chera king went into anger with his eyes turning red and destroyed a town. Yet another reference in the Paditruppattu, this time on the king Palyane Selgalu Kuttuvan, sung by Palai Gaudamanar, Murugu Udandru Karuthu, Kali Ari Mudur, Urumbil Kutrathu Annanin, Tirundolil Vayavar Syria Nade. His face goes black with rage and he went and destroyed a town. So this is a very interesting association from where we will straight away go to the Indus Connect and explore it first in terms of the brick. Brick is an important element used in construction in the IVC, and what makes it unique is its exemplary quality, which was noticed even in the year 1924 by Sir John Marshall, who claimed that these bricks of the IVC were literally indestructible and could be used over and over again. Remember, in a previous episode, we saw like when the Harappan Valley was discovered accidentally, what did the Britishers see? They saw the bricks when they were laying the railway tracks. They simply took them and used them for the railway ballast. And the noted historian K.N. Dikshit, who was the Director General of ASI between 1937 and 1944, and who was originally part of the excavation team of Mohenjo-daro, claims that these bricks adhere to a strict ratio of 1:2:4, which made for the best adhesive quality, and setting them apart, he claimed that nowhere afterwards in the subcontinent could we find bricks of such excellent quality. Now, look at these pictures of the Mohenjo-daro area. This is the original excavation done by Dikshit, and in the foreground, the covered with greenery is how the site was originally. Luckily, the Britishers started these excavations at a time when these regions had not undergone any development. Now, here is a picture of the Great Bath. We know that the Great Bath was a huge social icon of the city of Mohenjo-daro, and at 12 meters by 7 meters with a 2.4 meters depth, even the floors of the Great Bath were packed with bricks that were then rubbed down to give it a smooth finish, and they were so tightly packed, but in spite of that, bitumen was used to seal the corners and avoid water leakage. Look at the color red, and in this picture you also see a drainage chute made out of bricks leading out of the Great Bath, and here again is the hole itself that you can view, so aesthetically designed with all the bricks intact. Now, other than the Great Bath, look at this particular picture. This is a massive complex with a building and a courtyard around, which has 78 rooms and passageways, originally thought to have been a sort of a college block. Now, let's come to the Tamil connect of the word brick itself. Let's start with looking at it from an etymological point of view. Brick in Tamil is sengal, semmai plus kal, where semmai stands for quality and kal, as we know, means stone. So, quality stone is how our ancestors chose to name the brick. Now, this itself speaks for the very quality which directly associates it with the IVC standards, and on top of which the die that is used to cast the brick in Tamil is known as kattalai. Kattalai, we also know, means a rule, and this comes from the root word kattu, which means to bind. Kattu also means kattudal, from which comes kattidam, building. Kattu also means custom, and for example, a marriage, thali kattudal, is also denoted by kattu. So, the association of these words are so deeply rooted in our linguistic usage even till this day, and it is very interesting to see here that in the recent excavations that were done at Keeladi, one came across similar such quality bricks used extensively in the construction, also used in creating drainage systems. There is a very interesting correlate in Sangam literature, again attesting to the quality of the bricks. In Madurai Kanji, sung by Mangudi Marudanar, again talking of the greatness of our city Madurai, here is a very interesting poem. ஆன்று அடங்கு அறிந்த செறிந்தனர் நோன்மார் கல் பொழிந்தன்ன இட்டுவாய் கரண்டை பல்புரி சிமிலி நாற்றி நல்குவர கயம் கண்டன்ன வயங்குடை நகரத்து செம்பு இயன்றன்ன செஞ்சுவர் புனைந்து. செம்பு இயன்றன்ன செஞ்சுவர். The tall walls surrounding the city of Madurai, when looked from afar, gleamed in the sunlight as if they were made of copper. Now, what should have been the quality of the seamless finish of the fortress wall to have been associated with a wall made of copper in the imagination of Mangudi Marudanar? Now, it is said again that etymologically, fortress walls, Mathirai, large walls, was the original name that later was Sanskritized into Madurai. Food for thought. Here again, the association of copper, which was found in abundance in the southern regions in those days. Well, in the Harappan city, lot of copper objects along with objects from copper alloys have been excavated. And if you come to the Tamil country, one of the earliest excavated sites was Adichanallur, which is around 24 kilometers from Tirunelveli, on the banks of the Seyyaru, named after Seppu, that is copper, that lent its red hues to the river itself. Well, again, today we know the Seyyaru by the name Tamrabarani, where Tamra is Sanskrit for copper. Remember, we used to play with Cheppu toys when we were young. In those days, these toys were made from copper, hence the name Cheppu. While we grew up playing with the version made of wood, the term Cheppu stuck, and hence we call it Maracheppu. Now, Adichanallur was originally excavated by a German archaeologist in the year 1876 by the name Andrew Jaguar, but it was properly brought to light by the famous archaeologist Alexander Ray, who excavated the site between 1895 and 1905 and discovered a lot of interesting objects made of copper and gold. Unfortunately, for the next 100 years, the site lay dormant till in the year 2004. The ASI called in the services of the National Institute of Ocean Technology, authorizing them to carry forward the excavations. The NIOT, while excavating the site, found three objects made of copper alloy, one of which had traces of arsenic. Now, here is the interesting connect. Arsenic as an alloying element has not been found in copper objects excavated during the Chalcolithic period anywhere else in the Indian subcontinent, but arsenic is found as an alloying element in excavations that were done at Harappa. Now, this has led the NIOT team to believe that Harappan metallurgists should have migrated down south way back in those days to make use of the copper that was mined in these regions. We will explore more of Adichanallur itself in a separate episode, and again about the IVC Connect in terms of the third interesting red-hued object, the humble pot, in our next episode. Vanakkam.